On July 9, 2011, history was made. After decades of war, sacrifice, and unimaginable suffering, the people of South Sudan finally witnessed the birth of the world's newest nation. For millions of South Sudanese, independence was not simply a political event. It was the fulfillment of generations of dreams, struggles, and sacrifices made by countless men and women who believed that one day their people would be free. This is the story of how South Sudan gained independence, the historic referendum that paved the way, the emotional scenes on the streets, and the heroes whose sacrifice made freedom possible. As the old saying goes, freedom is never given, it is won through sacrifice. And for South Sudan, that sacrifice lasted for decades. To understand the significance of July 9, 2011, we must first travel back in time. For many years, the people of Southern Sudan felt politically and economically marginalized by successive governments in Khartoum. Tensions between the North and South eventually erupted into conflict. The First Sudanese Civil War began in 1955, even before Sudan gained independence from Britain and Egypt in 1956. Southern fighters known as the Anyanya movement took up arms demanding greater autonomy and rights for the South. The conflict lasted until 1972 when the Addis Ababa Agreement temporarily brought peace. However, the peace would not last. In 1983, another conflict erupted after President Jafar Nimeri imposed Islamic law across Sudan and revoked Southern autonomy. This marked the beginning of the Second Sudanese Civil War. Leading the Southern resistance was a visionary military commander named Colonel John Garang de Mabior. Garang founded the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, an army known as the SPLM-A. Under his leadership, thousands joined the struggle for justice, equality, and self-determination. For more than 2 decades, the war devastated communities, displaced millions, and claimed countless lives. Yet the determination of the people never faded. As one African proverb says, no matter how long the night, the dawn will surely come. For South Sudan, that dawn was approaching. A major breakthrough came on January 9, 2005. After years of negotiations, the government of Sudan and SPLM signed the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, commonly known as the CPA. The agreement ended one of Africa's longest civil wars. The CPA granted Southern Sudan autonomy for 6 years and promised a referendum in which the people would decide whether to remain part of Sudan or become an independent nation. Sadly, only a few months later, on July 30, 2005, Dr. John Garang died in a helicopter crash. His death shocked the nation and left millions in mourning. Many feared that the dream of self-determination could collapse. However, Garang's successor, led by President Salva Kiir Mayardit and other SPLM leaders, carried forward the struggle. The journey continued. The dream survived. In January 2011, Southern Sudanese finally got the opportunity they had waited generations for. From January 9 to January 15, citizens voted in the self-determination referendum. The atmosphere was emotional. People stood in long lines for hours. Many voters arrived before sunrise. Some elderly citizens walked a long distance. Others cast ballots with tears in their eyes. For many, this was the first time they felt their voice truly mattered. Across towns, villages, refugee camps, and diaspora communities around the world, South Sudanese participated in the vote. The turnout was extraordinary. When the results were announced, the outcome was overwhelming. Nearly 99% of voters chose independence. The message was clear. The people had spoken. South Sudan would become a sovereign nation. As crowds celebrated, songs filled the air, people danced in the streets, church bells rang, drums echoed across community, hope was everywhere. Then came the day, July 9, 2011. From the early hours of the morning, thousands gathered in Juba. People traveled across the country to witness history. Many wore traditional clothing, others carried South Sudanese flags, some carried photographs of loved ones who had died during the struggle. The atmosphere was electric. Children sang patriotic songs. Women ululated with joy. Veterans stood proudly in uniform. Former Anyanya fighters and SPLA veterans arrived carrying the memories of decades of struggle. Some walked with crutches, others had lost limbs during the wars. Many carried physical scars, but on this day, those scars became symbols of sacrifice and victory. They had lived long enough to see the nation they fought for become a reality. The official independence ceremony took place at the John Garang Mausoleum in Juba. At precisely the historic moment, the flag of Sudan was lowered. Then the flag of South Sudan was raised. As the new flag climbed into the sky, cheers erupted across the crowd. Many people cried openly, others knelt in prayer, some embraced complete strangers. For countless South Sudanese, this was the happiest day of their lives. President Salva Kiir Mayardit officially declared South Sudan an independent nation. The world had a new country. The Republic of South Sudan was born. The event attracted leaders and dignitaries from around the world. Among those present were Salva Kiir Mayardit, Omar Hassan al-Bashir, Thabo Mbeki, former president of South Africa, Raila Odinga, Prime Minister of Kenya, Meles Zenawi, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Yoweri Museveni, President of Uganda, Jakaya Kikwete, President of Tanzania, Paul Kagame, President of Rwanda, Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of Djibouti, international representatives from the United Nations, the African Union, the European Union, the United States, China, and many countries. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon was also present to witness the birth of the world's newest nation. The presence of global leaders demonstrated that the world recognized the significance of the moment. South Sudan had officially joined the family of nations. No discussion of South Sudan's independence would be complete without honoring those who made it possible. Dr. John Garang de Mabio remains one of the most important figures in the struggle. His leadership inspired millions. Salva Kiir played a crucial role in building the peace process and overseeing the transition to independence, and other prominent figures included Dr. Riek Machar, James Waniga, Paganamu, Nyal Deng Coleman Juk, Rebecca Nyandeng Garang, Joseph Lagu, a prominent Anyanya commander, numerous commanders, community leaders, church leaders, and ordinary citizens. Most importantly, independence belonged to the people, the farmers, the teachers, the mothers, the refugees, the widows, the soldiers, and the countless heroes whose names may never appear in this history book. As another proverb reminds us, a river reaches the ocean because of countless streams. South Sudan independence was built upon countless sacrifice. The mood across South Sudan on July 9, 2011 was filled with optimism. People believed a new chapter had begun. They hoped for peace, they hoped for development, they hoped for schools, hospitals, roads, and opportunities for future generations. Many believed that the suffering of the past would soon be replaced by prosperity. Across Juba, Wau, Malakal, Bor, Rumbek, Ye, Torid, Bentiu, and countless villages, celebration continued late into the night. Music played, families gathered, prayers were offered. For one unforgettable day, an entire nation celebrated together. July 9, 2011 will forever remain one of the most important dates in African history. It marked the end of a long struggle and the birth of a new nation. The journey to independence was paved with courage, sacrifice, and resilience. The people of South Sudan endured decades of conflict, yet they never abandoned their dream of freedom. Today, the memory of that history day continues to inspire generations.